Hey guys, Focus Friday. One thing that I want to encourage us in as we continue to grow in our excellence, both in worship and production, is to play it in service like you practiced it in rehearsal. Play it in service like you practiced it in rehearsal. And this goes for both the musicians and the technical artists on our team. Rehearsal is the time to figure out and commit to what you plan on doing in the service. So during rehearsal, you're finding out the very best part to play, or the very best drum fill to do, or the very best way to sing it, or the very best way to film it, or light it, or direct it, or the very best reverb and delay to use on the vocal in the quiet part. That is what you're figuring out in rehearsal. Figuring out the very best way to do something to serve the moment. And then once you've found that thing, that very best thing to serve the moment, you should lock it into memory. This is the bass fill that I do going into the second chorus that really helps it get there. Okay, this is the drum fill that I do, or whatever it is that you do, you lock that into your memory, and then you do it exactly like that during the services. Because something that I've noticed is that often our musicians will practice it one way, and then we'll get on stage in front of a bunch of people and the energy will change, and so we will change what we play. You know, it might just be slightly changed, or it might be drastically changed. It might just be, you know, the kick pattern is a little bit different, or they do a different bass riff, or they play something different on the electric guitar. But because we're working as a team, and because all the parts are working together and they're working really well together, then we should just remember what we did during the rehearsal and play it exactly the same in the service. Because I think what happens is we get really excited during the service and we add to what we had during rehearsal. We don't need to add to what we had during rehearsal. Just play it how you had it. Because a lot of times when we add, that's when it kind of gets noisy or messy or ugly, you know. So just stick to what you planned to play. And this especially goes for volume. Don't add to the volume, because a lot of times in practice for the musicians, we play it nice and calm, very musical, very beautiful, and then we get in front of people and the energy in the room is high, so we just play louder and we go bonkers. And this changes the musical dynamics. This changes the way things sound in our in-ear mixes. It changes the mix at front of house. It changes how the sound guys have to like react to us because we're playing it differently. So we got to remain calm and play it cool and play it with intentionality, just like we practiced. Okay. Because if you during rehearsal really picked the very best part that you could, like this is the best thing I can play here, then you don't have to change it. Indeed, why would you change it? So that's what my encouragement is play it like you practiced it. Now, this also goes for the technical people, because I'm talking a lot to the musicians, so I want to talk to the tech people too. I recently did an interview with the only guy in the world who has a PhD in church production. And he said, how come the musicians are the only ones practicing during rehearsal? If the technical artists realized just how critical their role was in the worship experience, they would be practicing their parts during rehearsal too, so that they could execute the services with excellence. And so I'm just going to put it out there for the technical people. I want to encourage you, like, why don't you see if it's possible for you to come in during the rehearsal time and practice with us, with the band? So if you're a lighting person, come in early during rehearsal time, run through the songs, run through the service flow, try experimenting with some of the new features on our lighting console. If you're a camera operator, see if the media directors will let you come set up a camera early and practice your shots and your panning and your tracking and all that stuff. Directors, maybe come in early and get some bearings for how the service is going to flow so that you're ready for all the shots and all the changes and all the highlights. Obviously, you guys are going to need to check with Christy and Stuart and Darren to make sure you can do this, but I think it would be fantastic if our technical artists were coming in during rehearsal and practicing alongside of our musical artists. And that way, our services are just going to get better and better, and they're going to be less distracting because we're not going to be making mistakes, and we're going to be growing and pointing people to Jesus with more excellence. And I just think we should all be rehearsing, and then we should be executing exactly as we rehearse. So that's my encouragement. Play it like you practiced it. Be consistent. Sing it the same each time. Film it the same each time. Mix it the same each time. Light it the same each time. Do it the same each time. Love you guys. Let's focus on that for this week. Bye.